Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is Tuesday, 11th of March 2025. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. Today is what we used to call in the past as Juice Day, when we had a 5-day settlement. The last day of the settlement was Tuesday, and invariably all our positions would be in a loss, and that is the time we'll be juiced, is what the traders used to say. Now I think we are now staring at another juice day, and all because of who is now playing a dangerous game. See, Trump's agenda is very clear. In fact, he has mentioned this before he actually became the president. He says he wants to bring down inflation, and if he has, and then he says, I would not really worry too much about the dollar. So if that is the case, then the DXY, which was going up, people were talking of 110, 115, had no business to be there at 109 and odd when Trump took over. Second thing was interest rates. If he has to bring down inflation, then interest rates also will not automatically come down. So again, the 10-year yield had no business to be close to 5. That is why I was insisting and emphasizing that if foreigners are leaving India because of the dollar strength and because of the differential in the yields between US and India, that is not going to be the case, because dollar should come down, US 10-year yield should come down, and I said it will come down at 4 and maybe below 4. Same thing, I was thinking of dollar also to come down below 106, 105. Now it is broken 104. And the final point is the oil. Trump wanted a $50 oil. If we get a $50 oil on the NYMEX, then invariably we'll have a $55 oil on the Brent. So these three important things, which are supposed to have attacked India's growth story, should have all reversed. Now, whether we will reverse as far as the stock market is concerned is a difficult call to make in the short term. But in the medium term, that is between April and August, I'm fairly confident things will be much better than what they are now. So the Wall Street now has panicked, and they are thinking that the soft landing which the Wall Street was factoring in is now going to not happen. And the economist pilot, that is the Trump's administration, is now talking about fasten your seat belts. Don't expect easy upward trend. You will expect some disjointed economy for some time. So just you see what happened. Why was the Wall Street so overconfident? Was you just look at the graph between the first term and second term. From the day he took on the first term, November 2016, the stock market just went up and up. So most people bet a similar thing will happen. Now, 2016, the situation was very different to what is 2020. At that time, he was a novice. He did not have a clear economic picture. The Treasury Secretary at that point of time was more interested in showing off gold in Fort Knox to his girlfriend, or how currency is printed. So that was then. So there was easy money policy which Trump wanted to happen. So invariably you saw that stock markets went up globally, and so much so in US. Now he's come with a clear-cut policy. The current Treasury Secretary Bessent is a very well-known personality in terms of how to manage markets, how to manage economy. So what they're doing now is short-term pain for a long-term gain, but it's a dangerous game because everybody looks for short-term. So people want only short-term. So that is why markets are coming down, because they're panicking. So yesterday you see the regular media or the general media, the host of Fox News, which is not talking of, it's not a business channel here, where he said what started as an ugly day on Wall Street has turned downright hideous because the Dow Jones fell 1,000 points at one point of time. The sell-off was triggered in part by Trump refusing to rule out the possibility of recession, where he had given an interview to Mario Bartiromo, where he said, I do not rule out a recession. So therefore, the Dow fell down, Nasdaq fell down, S&P and Dow turned negative for the year. So just let's look at the timeline of what's happened. So he started off, he said, I'm beginning a trade war. That was in early February. And then, the market didn't bother so much. Then tariffs, he continues to increase. The market didn't bother. So it's not that he has not given a message. He's clearly given a message that tariffs will come. When tariffs came, the day it fell, but of course, again it went and made a new high. Something similar to our election. After election, the markets fell down, but then they went on to make a new high and then they started falling. So similar thing happened there. Stock market peaked as tariffs ramped up. Then the GDP estimates came lower. Then the market fell. And then he said, I'm not watching the stock market. So the market fell further. Whereas last term, he was constantly watching the stock market. Then he acknowledged recession yesterday, that a possibility is there. And then the S&P erases about $5 trillion in 13 days, basically. So it is not that he has not won. Now people have gone ahead and bought, and now they're selling in panic. Everybody seems to be in panic. But then this is the reality, which he had actually mentioned it before even taking over. So USA Nasdaq posted single day percentage drop since September 2022. S&P posted the biggest single drop since December 18. And so S&P closed below 200-day moving average. The VIX went up to 27.86, which is the highest closing level since August 5th. If you remember August 5th, the yen had strengthened and globally markets had crashed. And Citi has downgraded equity to neutral from overweight while upgrading China to overweight. Now, you see, if you compare what's happening in US and Europe, then India should be really blessed. Indian economy is on the upswing. Global economies are on a downswing. But the markets being markets, they are just going to follow what US has done yesterday or what the European markets have done yesterday. All of them deep in the red. Nasdaq leading the red by 4%. FTSE down, DAX was 101.69, there's about close to 400 points, everything down. And today morning also, the same thing is happening in the Asian markets. Now, as I said, the Brent crude has come below 69. I was expecting 65 finally by the end of the year. It looks like it will come much earlier. Then gold has come down, silver, everything across the board, everything has come down. Bitcoin has collapsed. So yesterday what happened in our market may not be very relevant to what is going to happen today, because yesterday was okay. Market was steady for a long time. Then it collapsed in the last half an hour because the Dow futures went down by 450 points. So people panicked. Yesterday was one of the lowest volumes days in a very, very long time. We did only about 62,000 crores. Whereas the previous day, that is on Friday, we did only 83,000 crores. Typical average volume is about 1 lakh crores. So we did only 62,000 crores. So 40% lower than the normal average trading volume. Now, on a low volume day, which is expected in March, the movements are exaggerated. And we can expect exaggerated movements even today. Those are though that what it talks about it, what happened yesterday in terms of mid cap, small cap, micro cap, everything declined. The declines were more than advances by 4:1. So there nothing really spared yesterday. So only FMCG, I think, went up a little bit because of lever. Otherwise, nothing was spared yesterday. Take pharma, take energy, metal, IT, Nifty, everything just declined. Now, today is a different day, but you see the fun. FIs and DIs really did not participate in any big manner. FIs sold only 485 crores. DIs bought only 263 crores, but that created a huge damage. And then they say, when it rains, it pours. जब भगवान देता है चटपट पढ़ के देता है is what it said. After the market, IndusInd Bank says there is some discrepancy in the derivative portfolio, so they'll take a hit of 1,500 crores. As it is, IndusInd Bank was the worst performing index stock. And yesterday, after the news, in fact, day before yesterday, they did not give extension for more than a year to the current MD, though they had asked for 3 years. So the RBI knew. So therefore, they would have given them only 1 year to make the adjustments. So IndusInd Bank will lead the other banks down today. Unfortunately, they will now suspect banks like Axis Bank, Kotak Bank, or even public sector banks. So once the fear is there, people will sell first and then think about it later. So this is what the regulator is talking about. So GIFT Nifty is opening lower at 190. We may see a 200, 250 point down also. So in such chaos, what should we be doing? At least what I am doing is I'm going by this principle of our holy text, which finally says, this too shall pass. It's very difficult to keep calm during this time, but only when there is chaos, you should keep calm. because you can do nothing much. If you try to sell now, then if in the next week or 15 days later, if the market turns, which I'm expecting will turn by April 15th, then again you'll be left holding the can. So what we are doing today is we are just spectators. I'm not there in town for the next 2 days, but I will be watching the markets as a spectator and not doing anything. So whatever you do, I will be successful. And thank you for joining me. I am not a registered SEBI advisor. Thank you.